About a month after I gave birth, my husband and I separated, and so I spent some time at a women's shelter. And when I left there, they gave me one of those backpacks that you carry your baby in. So I would just walk with my daughter. I would apply at any place that would let me in the door. And I had, of course, to take her with me. Was still breastfeeding, so there was really no option. She was with me 24/7, and I walked all over Kansas City. Took the bus as far as it would take me, and then would just walk back and apply at places. So I was hungry and I was tired and it was getting cold and I was pretty disheartened and wondered, why nobody wanted to help or where was help. And thankfully enough, the WEN program was something that I had heard of and knew that there was somebody out there that could help if I could just find a way to get there. Part of the program is personal responsibility. It was my responsibility to fill out my resume and do it accurately. It was my responsibility to go to the interview, to set up the interview, to apply for the job in the first place. Those things were my responsibility. If I want to improve my life and the life of my family for a better future, I have to make the first step myself. And one of the things that they taught us was how to dress for an interview and what is acceptable. So there were a lot of tips and advice about how to handle an interview. And they had mock interviews, so there were employers who would come and help you practice going through the interview process. That was very helpful. By then I was really wondering why the women there were being so nice to me. Why was Lynette taking the time and effort to explain things to me or to even show me kindness? There was another woman in the class who noticed that I didn't have any lunch, that I was coming to classes without bringing anything to eat for lunch, and she went out of her way to bring something from home. Granted, one day it was just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but for me that meant so much to know that one of the other women cared so much about me not having something to eat that they brought me something. Yeah, it meant a lot to me to know that they cared enough to do little things like seeing how I was doing that day or making sure I had something to eat. It was really sweet. Okay, then my eyes are gonna turn red. They wanted to focus on the whole woman. That getting a job wasn't enough. It was being emotionally, physically, mentally healthy enough to be a good employee and to handle the position that you've just acquired, to move on in your career towards a better future. When I did graduate from the program, there were a lot of ways that the Women's Employment Network wanted to help me, and one of them was helping me locate an apartment that I could afford. So they helped me find a new place for my daughter and I to live. And one of the things that they did was encourage me to go back to school. So the next 4 years, I worked full-time, went to college full-time, was a fabulous mother full-time, and got it done. In 2002, I graduated with a Bachelor's in Liberal Arts, concentration in English.
Wise to see if we had the same process.
Well, my job now, environmental health and safety here on the campus, and we include fire safety, workstation ergonomics, the insurance for the campus, but our biggest job here on the campus is chemical safety. So one of the things that we do quite a bit are training classes, teaching the students how to use their lab coats, to wear their safety glasses, to make sure that they're handling things with gloves. To actually get up in the morning and want to come to work, I think is pretty nice. I found a little niche here.
So here I was with no job. I was a full-time student at DeVry, and I had these 3 kids and I had nowhere to take them for daycare. So I had to drop out of school. So I had to start selling plasma twice a week to be able to put gas in the car and feed the kids. They didn't have beds. We had 1 mattress and we all slept on it. And it was really depressing to wake up and they're all laying in the big bed with me on the floor and thinking, what am I going to do today? How am I going to feed these kids? And would they be better off with someone else? Because I'm failing at this, and I can't do this by myself. I felt suicidal, and I met Lynette Williams. She was the instructor at the Women's Employment Network. She understood my situation, but she was not going to stand back and let me feel sorry for myself anymore. She, her thing was, you need to get up and, get past all the things that's happened to you and begin to take control of your life. And we'll help you, but you have to help yourself. If you walk in a room and you're asking someone to hire you, they're not going to believe that you can become an asset to their team unless you make them believe that. And you have to believe that. And when I walked in and interviewed for DST, I knew that I could be a good employee for them. And I knew I was going to be the best employee they ever met. And I knew that I was going to climb the ladder and I was going to be a successful employee. And because I knew that, it came across in the interview and they wanted me. I was able to keep my family together and continue to raise them and continue to teach them and nurture them. And now I am so proud of them today. They're doing so well, and all three of them are now, working. So not only did they help me, but they're helping my family, and hopefully my sons will teach their kids everything that I've taught them.
We're women helping you. We want you to help someone else. And while we're doing that, there's this amazing transformation that occurs in that there's that opportunity, those lights come on, and women are looking at, okay, I do need to be accountable for myself. I do need to rely on myself. You need to be a woman who wants to make a change. 18 years old and ready to start your life, or 45 and having to start over, and having a place where women can come and be supported by women and acknowledged for whatever issues might be going on, and not being pointed out for having made a mistake, but having the guidance and the support to overcome. Our real focus is on skills assessment, resume writing, interviewing, job leads. We have a clothing bank that is stocked by our volunteers to help the women meet the dress code requirement, as well as having proper clothes for interviewing. We offer computer training and typing for women who have not been exposed to any of that. And it's amazing that WEN has been around for 20 years, that we've helped more than 5,000 women. And I'm really honored to have touched so many lives and worked with so many women in the community that are now making magnificent steps for themselves and their family.